Linear conversions and fuel consumptions. To do linear conversions, the way I do it is using our rule of 3, which is simply a 2 by 2 table. Values of the same type are entered in the same column, and the equivalents are entered in the same row. You will have the value of one of the other row. Make sure the value you have is entered under the corresponding column. Once you have entered the 3 values you know, you will multiply them in diagonal or in X, and then divide the result by the remaining value. Let's see an example. Let's say your car travels at a 55 miles per hour, which is also 60 minutes, and you want to know what distance you will have traveled in 90 minutes. Well, we will multiply and cross and divide by the remaining value, in this case 55 miles times 90 minutes divided by 60 minutes. Since we have minutes in the numerator and in the denominator, we can cross them out and we are left with just the 55 miles times 90 divided by 60, which is 82.5 miles. Now let's see if we can solve one of the FAA questions for the fuel consumption calculations using this method. The question says, if an airplane is consuming 95 pounds of fuel per hour at a cruising altitude of 6,500 feet and the ground speed is 173 knots, how much fuel is required to travel 450 nautical miles? Let's clarify that the altitude that is given is irrelevant. So we don't even use that for our calculations. We also need to clarify that the speed is given in knots, which is simply nautical miles in 1 hour. Let's start by saying in 60 minutes we travel 173 nautical miles. So how many minutes will it take to travel 450 nautical miles? We'll multiply and cross and divide by the remaining number, so it's 60 minutes times 450 nautical miles divided by 173 nautical miles. That is approximate 156 minutes. Now we know we burn 95 pounds of fuel in 60 minutes. And now we want to know how many pounds we will use in 156 minutes. We use the same method, multiply, cross, and divide by the remaining box. So it's 95 times 156 divided by 60, which is 247 pounds. You could ask yourself, why did we do in 2 parts? We first figure out the time, then we figure the fuel we were going to burn in that time. The truth is, we could have made this in less steps. If we reread this question, it says it burns 95 pounds in 1 hour, and then an hour is 173 knots, or 173 nautical miles per hour. So we burn 95 pounds in 173 nautical miles. And we just want to know how many pounds we will burn in 450 nautical miles. We set it up the same way. Then we multiply in diagonal and divide by the remaining number. So it's 95 times 450 divided by 173. We cross out the words we have in both sides of the fraction. We're just left with the pounds. And we come up with the same answer. Now, note that the answer is actually 247.1 pounds. And in aviation, we do not round down, we only round up. So we say we burn 248 pounds. Let's do a second example. The question says, if fuel consumption is 80 pounds per hour and the ground speed is 180 knots, how much fuel is required for an airplane to travel 477 nautical miles? We know 80 pounds of fuel are used in 180 nautical miles. We just want to know how many pounds are used in 477 nautical miles. So we multiply 80 times 2 times 477 divided by 180. And the answer is 212 pounds. 212. Now it's time for you to practice. There will be 6 more questions. Each question will display for 5 seconds and then the answer for 5 seconds. So what I want you to do is look at the question and pause the video, work out the problem, and then when you have the answer, unpause the video and see you came up with the same answer. And good luck, have fun.